Those are essential county functions? Okay.
I suggested the Beaver Barrel meetings be held here so you can use the camera and system.
I don't think it's not.
She said she'll have the borough solicitor call you. See if you work something out.
Yeah, run it.
All right, I'd like to call the Beaver County Board of Commissioners work session for Wednesday, February 5th, 2025. Review of work session discussion meeting minutes.
I'm good.
And we'll move to department head report. Department head report. Yes.
Good morning. I have just a quick question, some direction as to how you would like to proceed with this. We put it in the 2025 budget to have some parking lots sealed. Courthouse parking lot is one of them. We invested some money in them several years ago, kind of protect that investment. I'm wondering, who do we want to upset? Do we want to upset the courthouse employees and do this throughout the week, or do we want to do this on a weekend and upset the farmers market folks?
Number one.
Mr. Royce at the employees. I'm assuming this is a bid process. We'll have to put out the bids. How many parking lots?
It's here.
All those new ones we just resurfaced, right?
And DPW.
Is it normally a 1 day?
It's going to take some prep.
Yeah.
Probably, power washing, cleaning it off and everything like that. But obviously we're talking some larger parking lots. If we do it on weekends, it's probably going to be 2 or 3 weekends. If we do it during the week, I would say probably this parking lot, they probably have done in 3 days.
I'm assuming, will they do the whole parking lot once? They're going to do it in like half parking lot?
See, that's the thing too. It's not like the paving project.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
They move pretty quick, and they'll get a large amount done at a time. Obviously, we do a request for proposals, or we tell them what we want. They'll do it the way we want it, but it could affect the cost.
When do they start? The
Farmers market
Yes.
starts up in
April?
April, I think is usually
And
the
when do they
first
start
month.
sealing? When the companies come out and start sealing?
I would say they'll probably wait until late April or early May.
So it'd definitely be during the farmer's market.
Yeah. Hey, I think it needs to be done. I mean, you just look at it, especially with all the salt and stuff here, should be sealed so we can get the longer life out of it. And B, with the least disruption to employees as possible, would be preferred. It's not just employees, it's everybody that obviously comes and has to park here. If the employees are parking someplace else,
Is there any,
limits the public's access for parking as well, so.
are we able to, will the farmer's market be able to be moved for those couple weeks? Is there any other locations that we could look for them? Can we work with Beaver Borough and put them in the park?
The one thing I could say, and this, I don't know if this would help, but the farmer's market's only done by noon. I don't know if they come in.
It's Saturday morning through 1 o'clock.
Right.
So, yeah. Sundays are available.
Let me, are we okay with doing this as an RFP, a request for proposals, instead of putting a bid packet out and everything like that?
Probably not.
No, it'd have to be, yeah, it'd have to be.
I don't know, what's
gonna
the
be-
cost estimate?
It's gonna be over, what's the number, 26.5 now?
I think 23.9.
It just went up, didn't it?
24.
Yeah, it does.
That's the latest I've seen, so we've got.
23, it's 24,000 somewhere around there.
Okay, well, either way, we can dictate, if we put it, especially if we do the bid packet, we can dictate as to the hours we want, how we want it done, as far as, if we want to split the.
Well, I think you could probably-
Side parking lot, back parking lot.
You could also probably do it in two parts. Say, give us a quote of what it would be like if you did this on the weekend. Give us a quote of what you would do it if you would do it on weekdays. And
Just to start preparing the bid.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd be okay, yeah.
But again, obviously, the least disruption we can is a purple path.
Yeah,
Whatever
think-
that looks like.
I think moving forward by putting both in there, what's the weekend fee and what's not the weekend fee to do it, then we can make that decision. But I mean, do we think we could work with Beaver Borough for 3 weekends? And I mean, I know I've been to a few times, but I know some people go more often. Do you think the farmer's market would be okay with accommodating by putting them in the
I have
park.
contacts for the farmer's market, and I'm more than willing to reach out to Beaver Borough and see if they've got some.
Yeah, I can work with that too, whether it's in the park, whether it's down at the school. That could be an option as well too, the school parking lot.
For 2 weekends or whatever, however long.
Yeah, I think we can make that work.
So you're gonna do, when you start preparing the bid, it's gonna be both prices.
Yes, sir.
All right, I think once we get the prices back, then at that point, we can then make a decision and start talking about the farmer's market in the borough or the district if we need to at that time.
The other things I have is, obviously we have a situation in the service building with the boilers. That work it started last week, and they're still working on that. And also the contractor for the sediment ponds, the park got mobilized yesterday. I haven't had a chance to go through the park yet this morning, but I anticipate they're there working, getting the sediment ponds started. That's all I have.
Any other department heads? Tony?
Just real quick, I just want to make an announcement. Our 2025 experience guide was released last Friday.
So great addition, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of hard work by Gretchen and Katie to get this done. We sent 9,000 out to rest stops and turnpike plazas. Send another 5,000 out to local hotels and other municipalities, and then we get like 5 to 7 requests from our website that we mail out internally from our office. So happy with it. We switched it up a couple years ago. Used to be a yearly thing, but they're still pretty balanced, and we moved to a 18-month, a year and a half. So probably the next one will be next summer release, just as a cost saving, and they're still relevant after a year a little bit.
Yeah,
So.
most of the businesses are still where they are, the ones that have advertised.
And on our website, we have it digital, so if any businesses were to close or
Right.
shut down, we do update that recently as well.
Thank you. Any other department head report? Hearing none, move to solicitors.
We've been discussing about the situation regarding the storage that the county has currently. The county utilizes mines in Waltham to store a lot of the documents for various departments. There's an agreement that's been in place that expires in November of 2026, which leaves us with where do we handle and what do we do with this stuff moving forward. We've recently reached out to St. Barnabas, who owns what most people would identify as the old Michael Baker building in Brighton Township, sort of off by where the state police barracks are at. We're working with them on possibly a lease of 22,000 square feet, where we can utilize that space for a couple years in order to store all the documents, and from there make a decision if we want to look at some more permanent building or how we want to handle those. So we've been going back and forth on this potential lease. Nothing at this point is finalized, but we're trying to work towards a situation where we'll be able to utilize the St. Barnabas facility. The only thing that's currently up there right now is the radio. So they have a vast amount of space up there. A couple different department heads have gone up to look at it. The elections office obviously is very integral as far as where they store stuff. Collins went up there to look at it. And the hopes is that we can look to get a lease finalized and hopefully implement this here in the next maybe month or two. So that's the update on that. And the other thing that I have is a litigation matter for executive session.
Just to touch base on what the storage, I think the board's thought process on this is to be able to start pulling stuff out of the mines, putting stuff that's piled here in the courthouse.
Preventing stuff from going to the mines.
Preventing stuff from going to the mines, and then also start to purge the stuff that is being taken out. So whenever we do decide whether it's there, somewhere else, back to the mines, whatever it is, we could sort through to see what we need and don't need. Start having these departments go up and get, go through the stuff. But that's, I think, Garen, one of the things, I know it's a negotiation for the lease, but it's a short-term lease. It's not a long-term lease, correct?
Yeah, right now we've been talking about a 3-year lease.
And that will get us out of the mines, get us through the stuff, and then, looking for options to move forward, be proactive and not reactive on whenever the contract's up.
Yeah, I think one of the big things that we're trying to wrap our hands around now is how much stuff do we truly have in the mines? How much square footage does that take up?
How much do we really need?
How much, right?
With the digitization and stuff that's going on, so.
This will free up about almost a little less than 5,000 square foot for Dan also, now Public Works with the election stuff.
Getting the voting machines.
That was one of the components of making more room for other departments, so.
So the only thing this doesn't help is the issue.
Yeah, and we're looking, I know they had a meeting yesterday or last week to go over some drone stuff, and Pat Young and him were looking at like a potential pool building beside the one that's down at Brady's Run.
Extending that.
Extending that one with a pool building just to, make more room to get the stuff that's outside, inside, and vice versa.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
VCT is off the list.
Yes.
So what's the thought process on how we would retrieve our documents when we go up there?
We want to meet with Access. They actually charge us to do that. So we wouldn't have a conversation about having this isn't just to pull one or two documents. This is to pull essentially everything we have there. So we have to meet with them and have that
So
conversation.
unfortunately, it'll probably be Dan's guys. DPW.
No, what I mean is, if I want one page out of my tax books, who's gonna go get that?
Up on
In
the
St.
hill.
Barnabas
Yeah.
or the
Yeah,
mines?
at St. Barnes.
Someone from your office or DPW.
And we'll have the index that shows,
Depends on how you store it.
So it's basically,
Maria.
Jack's setting up sections for each department.
Yeah, we're gonna have
I'm-
sections for each
And then
department.
you set up and put your stuff the way that you want in that section, and you know how you store it and everything like that, you're responsible for your section.
You'd have free, unfettered access to every box
So every department's
Every
responsible for
document
their
that you-
files, correct?
that you store.
We're not gonna have a department that's gonna do that.
No.
Our office is gonna take responsibility, each office will.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing now, I don't know if you were here last week, Sandy, is I'm going through, I have all the documents of the mines. I'm going through them, looking at the retention laws and making recommendations based on the laws, what each department can keep or not keep. I'm gonna send each department head a report of that, because you guys get to decide and then confirm or not, because what happens is we pay $2 less a box if they destroy it versus us moving it. And so if we can just decide to destroy stuff before we move it, it'll save us $2 a box and move it. And that's a
The
lot,
stuff
right?
that's in the mines, yes.
The stuff in the mines.
Mhm.
Right now, the projection with as much as we have there, it's gonna be upwards of $100,000 to $200,000 to move this stuff.
Yeah.
Because of their cost.
would it,
Even with you guys moving it, that's just to put it on the dock.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the retrieval.
Yep.
That's a retrieval.
Yeah.
Then
That's what we're
like
trying to get rid of.
That's, we still have to move it, so.
Yeah.
So,
I went up to the mines about 4 years ago and took a look at what the treasurer's office looks like up there. And it was vastly different than what I had in my mind. So it might be beneficial for department heads or elected to go up there and see what they have, because I had pallets, but I didn't realize the magnitude of a pallet. And it's been wrapped for probably 100 years, it looks like.
I've never been there, I've never seen it, but I'm relying on like Mark Kramer, who's driven a truck through there and seen all the storage
Yeah.
and
it's-
where they've switched this from one area to another and stuff. I know it's pretty comprehensive and unwieldy, but I'm trying to look ahead instead of what's there, so.
It's gonna be a process and it's gonna be expensive, but it's something that needs to be done. I mean, we gotta do it, so we gotta rip the Band-Aid off at some point in order to do it. But, this is the route that it looks like we're gonna go for the foreseeable future. Kevin's gonna work on IT stuff as far as access to the facility. That way we can, limit who can get in there. We'll have security cameras up there. We've already cleared all that out.
It has to be,
with St.
it
Barnabas.
has to be secure, especially for the storage of the election voting stuff, so. But I think it's promising, so.
For clarity, and I don't know, this may have already been done, but, we're, DPW, we are not to go and when
Inside.
people pick, send a request to have something taken to the mines, we're not to take anything.
Should be a hold
Okay,
on
I don't
all
know
of
if
that.
something has gone
until
on or
we
not,
settle this
it
out.
might be a good idea to send something out, because whenever I tell people, no, I'm not going, it's there.
Yeah, I think Echo or Nikki or somebody put something out at one point, said that, didn't they? But we can do a reminder, just to make sure, there's 22 accounts in there, so there's there's a lot of departments, a lot of people have hands in what's stored at the mines. So. Good.
Anything else for the solicitor's office? Yeah. You said executive.
Yeah, just executive session for litigation matter.
We'll move to the commissioners, Commissioner Mann.
Yeah, I don't have anything other than, we do have the state of the county, the Chamber of State of the County Friday, at the Fez. Looking forward to that as we do every year. And other than that, I don't have much. I did have one question, Tony, with, saw your stuff on the potential for the bike park thing. Does that facility accommodate skateboards as well,
Yeah, it would.
right?
Yeah, any wheel things, it's like razor scooters.
Pretty much a
yeah.
pump track that can be used for skateboards, bikes, whatever. All right, just wanted to clarify. Look forward to seeing more information on that. I think that's it.
We'll move to other business. We have Jessica is here on behalf of Brenda, and I know Brenda's here as well, so.
Yeah, hi,
Hi, Jerry.
Jessica Stock with Landmarks SGA, and LPA Partners.
Good to see you again.
Yep, came to talk to you, last year as well. The porch construction is underway. There's a little bit of a delay with the weather, but that should be finishing up here soon. So the next item that we addressed as an immediate need for the Vickery Mansion restoration would be addressing the roof. So currently it's a slate roof. Based on our experience, it's a Pennsylvania black slate, which is a soft vein slate, which has a 60-year life expectancy. I know there were some recent repairs done, maybe 15 to 20 years ago, but the slate is probably 100 years old plus. And you can see in some of the photographs on the bottom, there's what looks like flaking or delamination. And that is because of some of the calcium and iron impurities within the slate. And so what happens is the slate becomes weaker over time, and then it starts delaminating, it starts, chunks start falling off, and then it causes water infiltration issues inside. There's also copper flashing at the chimneys, at where it meets walls and things like that. That copper flashing is failing. There has been evidence of recent replacements, especially in the box gutters. You can see it looks like striping. There's some membrane over some of the original seams which have failed. And so on the inside, we're getting a lot of moisture issues like the fourth picture, where you see bubbling of paint and you see actual water damage on the plaster. So we've reached out to some local contractors. They've given us estimates anywhere from $215,000 to $275,000 for a full replacement, replacement of the copper gutters, and replacement of the wood soffits. And Brenda's planning to go after a 50-50 match grant, which is a preservation keystone planning grant from the state. And it's due on March 3rd. So what she would need for that would be a commitment if you were willing to provide the match. The max amount for the grant is $100,000, so it would require a $100,000 match if she goes after the full amount, which I believe that would be the intention.
Which would still be less than the estimated cost.
Yes, so we put a little bit of a contingency on there. We did get a number from a local contractor who is an expert at slate roofing that was less than $200,000, but it would potentially be more depending on who actually bid the project and what the bids came in at.
Okay.
Do you have to use the slate roofing?
So we did,
Structure.
similar to what we did with the porch, we can show a substitute product, which is a synthetic slate. Though it actually, the prices are not that much lower. And again, because it's a National Register building, we would recommend going with the slate just from following the Secretary of the Interior standards. But we have the drawings, they're already prepared, and we do have that as an alternate in case the numbers come in too high. There would be the option to potentially accept the alternate for the substitute material.
The pool that you're applying for the grant from, how competitive, what's the pool of dollars that's available,
That I don't
what's your
know.
chance of success?
That I don't know. I mean, I think we've received 2 Keystone grants in the past, but those were both before me. So, 25 years ago. So I don't know the answer to that.
I've helped a lot of different municipalities and different organizations with the Keystone Grant, and I've seen success rate, from a lot of those, and I think, given the status of this building, and the fact that it's in Beaver County and not necessarily Allegheny County, it has a good chance, at getting this grant.
I mean, I'll be honest, the pool of ARPA monies and stuff, those days are over. There's not a big reserve here that these kinds of activities can be pulled from. So something we'll have to sit down and have some conversations about.
All right.
But obviously, the key would be if you can possibly get the grant.
Right. And also I think it's March 3rd.
Yeah, it's due March 3rd,
Of
so.
course,
she
it's
would-
always. All right.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank
Just a quick question. The contract with Stone Mile actually expired on December 31st of 2024.
okay.
Do we have any idea of how much longer it's gonna take them? Because I'm gonna have to do an amendment to the contract.
I'm meeting with them actually right after this, I'm going over there, so I will ask that and get back to you.
Thank you very much.
Yep. All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll move to audience participation. Audience.
Can you remind me what the relationship is between the county and the Vickery Mansion?
We own the building.
The county owns it.
Yes.
Do we have a separate line in our budget for that?
I don't believe
there is.
And it's a nonprofit?
We rent it to a nonprofit,
We rent it to,
the Beaver County Historical Society.
Research and landmark stuff.
These things and landmarks. So generally, that stuff just falls under building maintenance.
just,
Any other audience participation?
Andy Grace, I just wanted to follow up with the question that I asked a couple of weeks ago about the utilization of the warming centers. Were you able to identify?
Did they not? Yeah, we have,
Is there a route I can take so I'm not?
Yeah. right after me, I'll get them for you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We have a list of them from Dina Civitani.
Okay.
I apologize.
No, it's all good. Thank you.
Any other audience participation? Hearing none? All right, we will move into executive session. So he was here for that.
I mailed it.
He's always, like, when you had green on the bridges, like,
I think so. Here's, you were asking.
Yeah.
You put them in your house.